9 months ago, when my best friend texted me and teased me for hours, she said our lives were going to change. I don't think she had any idea really how fast it was going to change. I texted her and said, P-L-E what? How do you spell it? I'm going to Google it. My name is Sonya Dudley, Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I'm honored, truly honored to be speaking today. Thank you. God's timing is not always our timing. 24 years ago, a dream in my heart was born. I was only 19 years old, and I attended my first seminar in the other home business I was in for over 17 years. As I watched the speakers on stage, God gave me the vision and the dream that one day I would be on stage speaking. He revealed to me that my gift was the gift of encouragement in helping others believe in themselves. Year after taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back in that career, I said it was time to move on. I got tired of wondering what was wrong with me, what am I doing wrong, how much harder can I work. You see, I'm sure I was successful to a lot of people, earning the use of company cars, diamonds, and so forth, but I was not successful in my own eyes because I began to feel like a fake. I was trying to convince others how well they could do in the business, but still questioning it myself. I had tons of debt from inventory, prizes, and many other things that the business entailed. I kept wondering why I could not even get close to a top position in that company after 17 years. I worked so hard and even took a lot of classes, self-improvement, leadership skills, time management, sales skills. I just could not understand. And after burnout and becoming stressed out, I woke up one day and thought I had a terrible summer flu bug. I had no fever, but because the pain was so intense and it was so bad, I thought I would go to the doctor. So I did, and I went to another and another and another and another. And they all said, honey, you just have a bad case of fibromyalgia. And no, there's no cure, you just have to get better. Try this, try that. So I called the 17-year career quits and tried a couple more home businesses in the meantime because I could not get out of the house most days due to the pain. Those other businesses did not work out so well, so maybe there really was something wrong with me. And I started getting well enough to go out into the real world and get a real job. No more network marketing, Alfred. I worked in sales for 7 years at different places, still searching for my thing. During that time, I invested in other words, I went into debt, into 2, not 1, ambitious me, 2 traditional small businesses. I gave great effort in making them work and did enjoy being my own boss again, but with both needing a lot of tender loving care and me not having any working capital, I found myself having to get a real job again and pay someone else to run them. I went to work at a cellular store, and there's where I met one of my best friends, Michelle Thomas, senior gold. As a side note, Michelle has built a dynamic team in Ohio and now starting in Florida. Just amazing. After a year there, I was so stressed, retail hours, the commute. I went to work somewhere else, and I loved my last real job. But after 2 years there, the commute, the long hours, the resentment of only having one Saturday a month off with my family, I decided, I'm searching for something again. 42 years old, searching for something again. I ended up, and I had to close the 2 businesses and just face the fact that I would have a huge debt over me for the rest of my life. My husband makes a great income, he's a great provider, but as most families, we had a lot of bills and a huge mortgage, and I had a lot of past mistakes to pay off. So I remember saying to my husband last summer that I was sure we would have to work the rest of our lives instead of retiring and traveling like we had planned and dreamed of. I remember crying myself to sleep a lot of nights and feeling the pain of regret as I went to sleep. I remember feeling like I had no light at the end of the tunnel and no hope for the future. I remember wishing I could do a lot of my life over in a few areas, just start over. I felt stuck and I really felt like a failure. I remember just 9 months ago, I would post 8 checks until Friday, accepting that was just normal. And I did a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Anybody relate? Yeah. Fast forward to September 2012 when my best friend, Sapphire Ambassador Helen McFadden, called me. Well, she texted me and teased me all day. Then I said, this is not going to work, you better call me. So she called me and said we were going to sell Plexus. reminded her of our many conversations about never ever selling anything again out of our house. The inventory, the parties, the selling, the convincing, the debt. We wanted no part of it. Remember? Do you remember this? I said. Thank goodness she trusted Diamond Ambassador Sheila Medina enough, and I trusted her enough, Helen enough, but still had reservations. I recall saying that if the products worked, we were taking this all the way, but if they didn't, we were done. I worked a full-time job, 50 hours a week, plus a long commute to and from work, and with a family. I sure didn't have time for a part-time job. I also tried a couple more of those home businesses in the last 7-year period, and I was just done. I was done with it. I remember saying to her, I don't have any credibility left. If this works, it's crucial that I do it big. After 1 week, the product worked. It did take away my sugar cravings. It gave me energy. It took all my pain that I had left away and helped me lose 7 pounds. I've always been the person who fluctuated up and down 30 pounds. So I've been on every diet. There's not one you've been on that I haven't been on. I was able to stop all my medications that I had been on for a long time, and I knew we had our hands on something really unique. I started posting my results on Facebook, and it spread like molasses in my small Mayberry-like town. In fact, after trading a combo of Plexus for some of my son's senior pictures with the famous 2 sister-in-laws in my small town who were known for their amazing talent in photography, they quickly joined my team. At the end of November, when I sponsored Emerald Ambassador Stacy Hickerson and Carol Ulmer, she sponsored Carol, who is now Emerald, so awesome. We were often running in Mayberry with our 2 red lights that most of the time both worked at the same time, and a couple of banks in our small town. We frequently ran into each other as we were selling trials of Plexus and depositing our rapidly growing paychecks. Well, not all of us were depositing our checks. Carol enjoyed stashing hers away in her house somewhere, and Stacy kept hers in a squirrel hole, as she told me. They would then take it to our little Mayberry bank and make hefty deposits all at one time. I guess they like to give the Aunt Bees of the town something to talk about. And besides, Stacy's just dabbling in it anyway, as she told me. She's always dabbling in it, and she works a full-time job, so Stacy. Okay, when the famous Steve Wilder jumped on board that same week and started turning West Tennessee pink, and Donna Sweeney in Nashville caught the vision of what she had her hands on, we knew we were about to explode. I got a call from Carol Ulmer when she was in Missouri visiting her in-laws through Christmas. She wanted me to talk to a gal who she believed could be a powerhouse. And boy, was she right. So I called Senior Ruby Casey Self, and let me tell you, that phone call took all of us to a whole new level. Casey and Team Missouri set the bar high, not only for us, but for the entire company. Casey found a few leaders her first week in Plexus. That week, very week, Team Missouri was born. Senior Gold Ambassador Lisa Russell and Senior Ruby Lindsay Perry, who sponsored Gold Ambassador Blair Sadler, they all decided to become leaders in the company that week and put Missouri on the Plexus map. Thank you, Team Missouri, for your level of excellence. After quitting my full-time job and starting full-time Plexus the last week of November, I would never believe that we would go from 30 people to 89 in 1 month in December. You see, in my previous 17-year career, that kind of growth never happened. If we got 10 in a week, 10 in a month, we were very excited. If someone would have told me that 9 months later, we would be growing by 10 or 15 people a day and have over 1,700 ambassadors on our team with an excited, explosive team in Australia, I would have said, yeah, and pigs fly. If they would have told me that I would have been a Sapphire Ambassador on my way to Diamond and that I would be going to Hawaii in September with my family and my best friend and her family, that I would be driving this amazing Lexus that I just love this car, and earning a 5-digit income a month, I would have felt that there was something in the water. Sure enough, there was. The pink drink. It's not about us. It's not about us at all. It's about all the people that we're helping by sharing our passion for the product and the company. Move out of your own way and stop worrying about things such as, I'm not a salesperson. We're glad you're not a salesperson. I don't look for salespeople anymore. Or my friends and and family going to think I'm trying to sell them something. Think about the people who've added years to their lives by being on Plexus. Think of our very own Alinda Bohannon, Senior Ruby Ambassador, who found Stacey Hickerson on Facebook, who has cut her insulin intake quite a bit, beat her own chronic fatigue, and helped give hope to a lot of people that can relate to her. Has over 300 on her team today since January. Amazing. We really are selling, but we're just selling hope. That's what we're selling. We're educating people, but we're selling hope. I want to thank my husband, Michael, for sticking with me through just one more thing, honey. Just one more. This is it. This is it. I love you. And my kids who are pretty happy that the bills and the stress are not the topic of conversation anymore. I want to thank my 12-year-old daughter who's not here, but she proofread the speech and corrected everything. Of course, I'm going off track. And she keeps a whiteboard every night. We track the progress, and she's amazing. So I want to thank her as well. I want to thank my mom, my awesome mom, Janet, who's here today, who I know she's crying in the back row. I can't talk about it. There's my mom. My mom is my biggest fan and supporter, and always my first team member in everything I've ever done. Memberships and kids. I want to thank Sheila Medina for all the trips to Tennessee and Missouri to show me the right way to do this and how to keep it simple. We're not used to that. Thank you. And to my best friend Helen in the whole world, if it were not for you, I would not be standing here today. Thank you for never giving up on me. And for once, you got to sponsor me. I want to thank this amazing company and the leaders in it for creating such a solid compensation plan and having the best products out there. The product is why we are growing like this. I want to also thank my team. I don't even know how they even go there with that, but my joy daily comes from watching you grow and succeed. By listening to the stories of your customers, yourselves, your own families, I cry every day. Every day I have chills or I'm crying. And I cannot believe that I'm paid to do this. It's amazing. Hope you know what you have. As I close, I want to share one last thing. Helen will call me often, and we get extremely overwhelmed when we realize that this was a dream of ours, and now we are living it as our reality. The emotion we experience thinking about the health and the financial impact that our journey has had on thousands, it's just too much to take in most days. It's hard to wrap your mind around. Some people say, how did you do this so fast? And I say, it's all God's plan and His timing, not mine. And it may look like this happened in 9 months, but it didn't. God's been preparing me for this my entire life. Those 17 years of wanting to be on a stage, I'm now on a Plexus stage. This was the stage He was preparing me for. Ephesians 3:20 says, now unto Him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. I don't think there's a better Bible verse to explain the last 9 months. That's for sure. See, when the right company with the right product at the right time comes along and you're prepared, then it will be the perfect storm. I love you all, and I hope that you make this year your year for your opportunity of your lifetime.